Hello, welcome to Help. We're trying here. This is Rima Synergy's podcast, and this is our eighth episode. Can you imagine that? This is number eight. If you are new to this channel, do give us a like, subscribe, and follow to be notified of our next episode. We are in Spotify, so you can follow us there. We are also in YouTube, so you can also subscribe to us there so that you can be notified of our next episode. Okay, so today's topic is career paths from traditional to unconventional. Before we go any further, let's introduce ourselves, ladies. I think this is the first time that you'll be seeing Evelyn, myself, and Adelina in this podcast together. We have never done it, the three of us together, right? This is
Yes,
our
not
first time
yet.
together.
First
Yes,
time.
exactly. So let's say give a little bit of introduction about who we are and what to expect from this podcast. Let's go with Evelyn first. Over to you, Evelyn.
Hi, everybody. I think this is my second time joining this podcast, but for this virtual one, oh, it's my first time. So, what I'm expecting is I believe we're going to have a fun session because both our seniors are not here. Someone please cut that away so we can speak freely.
What are you trying to say? They're going to listen to this.
Anyway, yeah, I'll just do a very simple one from me, lah, just to make today Friday a very easy day. Over to you, Adelina.
Okay, thank you, Evelyn. So hello again. I've been here a few more times than Evelyn has. I'm usually behind the scenes producing the podcast. So today I am here with Sylma and Evelyn to talk about our topic. And essentially, I think I've been introduced in many different ways throughout my my guest appearance here. I think today I can also introduce myself as a multi-potentialite, which I think will be relevant to the topic. And what does that mean? It just means that I have many skill sets that I can tap into. I enjoy and I'm curious about so many different topics. And also I like learning more about different things and different skill sets, and that is something that collectively I bring as myself to the table. So that is me.
Right. Yes. So we have Evelyn, we have Adelina, and you always listen to me, right? Every podcast I am there. My name is Sylma. I am confidence coach, and all three of us are from Rima Synergy. Okay. So if you want to know more about Rima Synergy, you can just go to our website. It's rimasynergy.com. Exactly the exact name of our company, and you'll be able to find out more. What is it that we do, who we are, and what can we bring value to you? Yeah. So today's topic, career paths from traditional to unconventional. So I think we all understand what is a traditional career path, right, ladies? So why don't we dive in a little bit about that? What is your perception? What do you understand by traditional career path? Evelyn?
Well, thank you, Silma. For me, traditional path to me is like, wow, sounds so glamour, very glamour. Oh, you're a doctor. Oh, you're a lawyer. Oh, wow, wow, things like that. Am I right? Did I
Yeah,
get it?
yeah, yeah. Exactly. So we Asians, there's a joke that goes around, right? We Asians, there's four traditional paths. One is law, medicine, accountancy, and engineering. It is these four, right? What about
Yes.
you, Adelina? What's your perception of traditional career?
I think a traditional career is where you study hard, you
Mm-hmm.
hopefully get into a good company, and then
Mm-hmm.
you progress up that career ladder in the company, or you jump around within the same field, and then you become boss, and then you live happily ever after. Basically, that to me is a traditional career path.
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
security. You either work for the government or you work for a big corporate body, and you're set for life. You get monthly income, you get your EPF, your tax paid for, and all of these things. So that to me
Mm-hmm.
is the
Yeah.
career, yeah,
And
tradition.
during, if you guys still remember, because we are around the same age, right?
Mhm.
In our 20s.
I'm younger anyway, by the way.
By the way, when you guys hear the laugh is bigger and louder, that means it's half true. So, when you think back during primary school, right? I think every year we have to fill in what do we aspire to be? What do
Mm.
we want to be when we grow up,
We have to
right?
give three also.
Exactly. You have to get three options, and every year, for me, it doesn't really change much, except when I was like 11 or 12, when I got older. So it changed a little bit. But from primary one until primary four, it was the same for me. It was like number one is teacher, okay, which is the education field, right? Number one is teacher, and number two, doctor, and number three was lawyer. So it was this three all the time, right? So what about you guys? What is your top three during your school years? Adelina,
I mean, doctor was definitely in there. My mother
right?
wanted me to be a doctor. I think it's just that profession that
Mm,
everybody says, okay, you be a doctor, you're gonna be rich. Everybody feels doctors are rich. But I think you don't get rich as a doctor until you're, further along
mm.
in your career. But there's doctor definitely. There was one time, I remember this in primary school, that I wrote police. I have no idea where that came from. Maybe movies, who knows? Maybe it was glamorous in the movies, so police, but that appeared once lah in in the table of careers that I would like to be in. It is this police. But also I had actor at some point. I did want to
Actor.
go, yeah, I did want to go into the entertainment industry. That was a long dream during my younger years or childhood younger years. That so entertainment was something that I was very intrigued by.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I watch, I don't know if you guys remember this show. It's called Kid Songs. So it's
Yeah,
basically
yeah, yeah.
supposedly a show produced by kids,
Yes,
acted in by kids, and
yes.
all of that. So I've always that was like my childhood dream to be part of the Kid Songs crew or an actor there. Then you
Right.
sing, so they make all these music videos and things like that. So that was the childhood dream lah, which it didn't pan out, but I think it manifested in different ways as I grew up. Yeah.
Correct, correct. What about you, Evelyn? What was your top three?
Before I share mine, I just want to continue from Adelina's
Yeah.
sharing. I'm quite happy for you. Like actually, you're not doctor now. Otherwise, during those contract doctor protesting, I might see you there or somehow somewhere. So it's just it's not really that not a traditional career path. If it's not like 100% guarantee, Yeah, I think
Uh-huh.
will bring us to there later
I
you know
did get an interview though through Mara to go and study as a doctor. I didn't get in, but mainly I mean I
Really?
understand why I didn't. I even said to them, I even said to my lecturers at the time, like I don't know why they're calling me back for a second interview. I'm not taking bio in metric, so I have no idea why they're calling me in for a second interview. I don't know how I got to the second interview. But I mean at the end of the day I didn't get it. I was to study doctor in Ireland. Yeah,
Ah.
that's a that so I thought that was funny also. I'm like, hi, I dropped bio for this very reason. Why are you calling me in? So yeah.
So after listening to both of your ambition during your school times, well, I think every one of us we have lawyers lah in our ambition.
Mm.
The karangan, the so-called karangan that we have to write cita-cita. The
Yeah.
lawyer is the number one. But for me, honestly, until even I finished secondary school, even until today, well, I don't know why I'm born to be like I'm very interested in law things.
Mm.
Very keen in law. So wherever I read any news that is about law, if there's any talk about law sharing, what kind of section, what penal code, whatever thing, yeah, I'm very interested with that. Okay, so
Mm.
coming back again to my ambition, when you said three, I really wrote this, and okay, when I say this, you will know why my mom's going to like rotan me. Number one, lawyer, definitely. You have to have one very glamour one, lawyer. Or two, pilot.
Pilot.
Number three, air stewardess.
Ah.
You know why my mom don't like lah for the two? Very common lah for Chinese mom. Okay, so they will say, why do you want to be a air stewardess? Why do you want to be a pilot, lawyer? Okay, but I say no. In school we have to write three. So yeah, that is the three. Then my mom also was saying, you never thought to be a doctor. I say no, I don't. Yeah, so that how it goes lah. But for for air stewardess and pilot, I just never get the chance to do anything on that because it's really a very big no from my mom. So, but for the lawyer side, yeah, I ever thought of to get how online studying. Yeah, because even online studying, they also need you to have those A level, GCE, O level, whatever. Yeah, sorry to say that I don't have all those. So I just do a lot of readings lah. So basic law knowledge, I would say okay lah for me, basic one.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's a good point, Evelyn. As Asians, right, we do listen to our parents a lot, right? Because we respect them, we respect what they say. They have a hold in our future, right? But as the three of us know, none of us are now in the traditional career path. None of us are, right? So whilst we were adhering to what our parents wanted, how did we end up here? How did it went from the top three that we have chosen during school time to here, the now us? So I'm super interested to find out from the both of you, and I will share a little bit about myself also, about how did we from this traditional mindset and we end up in this unconventional career path that we are in now. Maybe we can start with Adelina first, babe.
Okay. Yeah. And I think I was also saying to Silma the other day, like, the both of us, we studied the traditional,
Yes, we did.
the traditional glamorous fields. So my background, my education background is in engineering. I specifically did not want to be a civil engineer, so I definitely didn't choose that. So my education my background is in communications and computer engineering, which technically I did work for a telecommunication company after graduating, but not in an engineering capacity, but I work in the engineering office, if that makes sense. Because if you're going to be a communications engineer, where like an RF engineer, radio frequency engineer, you'll have to go to places where there's no reception, because the whole point of you being there is to create the reception there. I didn't want to do that. That also meant that you need to climb up towers, and I have a fear of falling. So that wasn't going to work. And I've heard so many stories of, bees nest and all these things that are at the tower because they're so high. You get
Wait,
towers.
what? Bees nest.
Yes, the hive.
Bees.
Bees, exactly. So as you climb, you might encounter the hive at the tower. So towers are anywhere between like 60 feet, I think, if I remember correctly, to like 200 feet. Right? So I'm like, if I fall, I die way. So, so there's that, and I enjoyed my work of what I did then. So essentially, actually, when I was in uni, first year of engineering, I was like calling my mom, I do not want to do this, not what I want to do. When I applied, I actually wanted to apply to do mass comm, or at least I could have maybe thought of broadcasting engineering or something like that, right? No, they didn't have that in the local universities. Then I said to my mom, I actually want to do mass comm. Then my mom looked at me and said, with your results, that's what you want to do, mass comm. So, okay, I had to level up, and I applied for engineering and got in. Then the first year of engineering, I'm like, oh my God, this is not what I want to do. And then I look at the IT faculty across from our faculty, and I'm like, I told my mom, I want to change to IT. And she said, no, you go through first the 1 year, go through it. But then after 1 year, you're like, if I go now, I have to restart and all these things. And you're, never mind, I'll just go along. So I finished my engineering course, went to telecommunications. But then after that, I think I worked in telecommunications for 4.5 years before I
Mm.
left. And then I went into so many different things. That's when I started going to business. I did fashion retail. What fashion retail means, I did a online blog shop. At that
Okay.
time, blogs were so big. And then after that, I went into furniture because my uncle had a teak plantation in, so we
Mm-hmm.
thought, okay, this is a good opportunity. And now saying this, I realized that I've always enjoyed marketing because I looked at it, oh, okay, this is the angle that we can take so that we're unique and we can sell and blah blah blah. So we did that. And uh we did teak furniture, so that's Sabah teak wood furniture, and then and furnishing as well. And then after that, I went into doing makeup. I did makeup first part-time because I've always loved makeup ever since I was a little girl. So there's like that. And then I've always taken my mom's makeup, use it, and all of those things. Then I learned on YouTube, blah 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 blah. There's a lot of, like I said, there's so much information. And then in our generation, I think it's very lucky that we started getting into the internet. The internet came during
Yeah,
our lifetime, right? So
correct.
we were there from the analog years to the digital years. We are there throughout
Yes.
the whole thing, which I think is just brilliant and wonderful. And there's so many things that you learn, and you start that knowledge just expands, right? The knowledge pool. And then went into makeup, did that, and then it just progressed. And after that, I started doing, I've actually done graphic design from school on
Mm-hmm.
my own. That time, like I said, internet just came about and everybody was doing websites. So I learned how to do websites. And then we had all of these, like that time they call it web rings. So that's, all the predecessors to what we have now, lah, basically. And from there, so I did a website teaching people how to use HTML, doing cheat sheets and all these things, doing graphic design. So I've got people from mostly from the US who would order
Mm-hmm.
graphic designs for their website and things like that. And then after that, that carried on, and I managed to use that. Oh, okay, I can do graphic design and just start doing things. But when Canva came in, that really took off to
Mm-hmm.
greater heights. Then there's that. And then I got into NGOs, which is where I fell in love with training. And this I did with
Mm.
Sylma back in the days. And we went into training. And because my dad is also very how to say, he's very tech advanced, in a sense that if there's new tech, you'll know about it. They'll be possibly
Mm.
be in our house. We had like when digital cameras started coming out, nobody was using digital cameras, and we had like this, I don't even know the brand, and it had a tiny screen and all that. So that also added on to my other interests. And because of that, then now I can do digital productivity and all of those things combined, and in my head everything makes sense.
And
And
here you are.
yeah. And here I am, exactly, doing anything from creative stuff, digital productivity, event planning, and all of this comes from all of that life experience, all that knowledge and skill sets that were accumulated that had nothing to do with my engineering degree.
So yeah, so that's your life story summed up in 5 minutes. From traditional mindset now to unconventional career path. Thank you very much, Adelina, for sharing that. Let's move on to Evelyn then. What about your story? How did you get from the traditional one to unconventional one?
But for me, if I were to share the traditional, well, I didn't go for any specific certification or what, but I just don't want to bring back too many years ago. Like it's like I also malas want to think about it. So just bring it back to the last 10 years, which is the
Uh-huh.
job, a full-time job lah. So it's considered a traditional pathway lah because it's a full-time office job. So that company is a tax and accounting office, which I don't have any knowledge on
Mm.
and tax. It's just that because the boss of the company is looking for a assistant. I don't know what assistant. So when I go in, I just get to know that, okay, so you are like doing everything you
Mm.
can in the office. So from there, I get to learn because there's one day my boss said, okay, we are really rushing for the submission due date. Can you please assist us to arrange all the paperwork, just do all the filing for all the basic accounting filing. So I started from there. And time goes. Because I'm with the company for, I think, about 11 years.
Oh,
So from
wow.
zero accounting knowledge, I don't even know what is that. What is tax? I don't know from there. So I consider myself as a self-directed lah. I learn it on my own. Because after I do all the compiling of the documents, all the sorting, and again, one day my boss said, can you just assist them to key in some of the data because we are really running out of time. I say, okay, just let me know how should I do it. So my colleague just write me a paper. For this one, you debit here, this code. For this one, you credit this code. Okay, I just do. Every day I'm doing that during the peak seasons. So from there again, I gain another knowledge. Okay, for this is this, that is that. Okay, fine. And then again, my boss said, okay, now we are finished with the accounting. We have to do the tax submission. Can you please go and study the tax rate, how you're going to do all that thing. Okay, I do it. So overall, after all, I'm quite grateful to my, previous boss as well. He made me in a situation that you go and find out yourself, ask the colleague or whatever you want to do, just go and do it. But until today, still yet, I'm not a certified accountant or any tax consultant, no. But I have most of the knowledge, I can
Yeah.
say. Okay, so right after that comes into the pandemic that we are facing. So lockdowns, close down, everything. So, but still, even with the lockdowns, we still have to do all the tax submission. So we are doing it from
Correct.
home. From that time, 2020, we started to do it from home. So the company said, okay, this client is under your care all these years, so you just bring back all the files and do it from home. So we do it from home. And yeah, I think that pandemic also made my ex-boss realize that, actually, I don't need to pay you guys full-time to sit in the office every day. You guys can go project basis. If you want to take up this air company, you just do it. Okay, this is the fee. Are you okay, Evelyn? You okay? Take it. Okay, once done, the company will pay you this amount. That's it. So if from there, we started to, okay, also another thing is that I requested also for project basis. But I think because of, we are still young and we just don't feel like sitting in the office anymore after the pandemic. So I feel more better sitting at home, So I requested for a project basis. And at the same time, also, I'm like trying to see whether can I venture into something else or not. So it's just, I don't know, God's willing or what. So I joined a program, a reboot program, and I get to know the founder of Rima Synergy. So yeah, it brought me into another world, an eye-opener to me also. It's like, training is quite good because just before the accounting job, I was with the College of Creative Arts. So that college is, basically for teaching for all the hairdressing courses, makeup courses. I don't do all the practical thing, but once in a while I would do the theory training because senang saja. They will just give me a book. Okay, you just read all this, write some notes on the whiteboard for the students to understand. Okay, I said, and then just take care of them when they do their exam, things like that. When someone from the government agencies come, you just take care of them, conduct everything. I said, okay, it's fine. So it brought me back to my those days. Said, okay, it should be the same, but actually it's not the same. And I don't have any certification in coaching or training. So when Sylma looked for me, babe, can you join us for this podcast? I was like, oh God, oh dear, you want me to talk about career? And my career is like tabalik all the time. I cannot find anything good in me. So even until today, I'm still doing accounting. But I will say that if Sylma is going to ask me, what's the difference if you're working still with the company or working on your own? Oh, it makes a big difference because clients will tend to, they are not so willing to pay you based on your effort and your values because they are seeing that, oh, you're freelance, what? You're working on your own, what? So I don't charge so expensive. But actually the workload is the same. Even I'm attached to a company, also my workload is the same.
Correct.
And without attaching to a company, I felt that my workload and even the stress level is higher because the responsibility is on my own. So if I'm attached to a corporate big accounting firm, taxation firm, the responsibility, the company will take all the responsibility. I just get my things done. Others, none of it's not within my apa sudah. But clients just don't understand. So that's the very big difference for me, which sometimes I find that still until today, I'm still in the situation of, hey, should I go back to the company so that people will be willing to pay me? Otherwise, people will always like, hey, don't charge so expensive like you're doing from home.
True.
Well, I have to pay for my aircon, for my internet, and everything.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to just stop here, Sylma.
I find both of your stories very interesting, and also it tells me that both of you have a lot of experience, right? In work, in how to handle people. Uh, this kind of experiences you don't get if you just stay in one spot your entire lifetime. I think in our age, right, as millennials, what is the term for it again? Gig economy, right? So this gig economy is something definitely what us millennials embrace. I think it has something to do with, like Evelyn said, about our age. We are at an age where we think we're still young, relatively young. So
Young is so
it's not that
subjective.
it's not that we are choosy, but it's also at the same time we want to pursue something that we don't have any idea about. Like what Evelyn said, she has no idea about training. She has some idea of it, but she just jumping into the company thinking that, wow, this is gonna, enlighten me and also give me another kind of experience. So why not, right? And with Adelina as well, you have your own personal interest, not just in engineering, but also in makeup, in digital productivity, being creative overall, right? If had you, the both of you, just stayed where you were, you will not have this kind of varied kind of experience. Yeah. So this brings to the next thing that I have in mind, which is, does it bring you joy though? To I know life happens along the way, right? And that also is part of the reason why we did what we did. Um, but does it bring you any joy to be able to have this kind of, in a way, it's a freedom because you are not stuck in the office. Do you feel joy, or do you feel like it's stressful? Maybe you can share a little bit about the ups and downs of it, right? So, Evelyn, what is your take on this? Any ups and downs you want to share with us
If you
while
say
being in this? Yeah.
If you say joy, I would say yes. Why? We do enjoy along the way, yeah. Because like everybody's been saying work-life balance. There's no balance at all. I agree with our founder. I believe she will be listening to this. She's always saying that work-life harmony. But until today, we still don't get people, we don't hear anybody saying that about that harmony. Still people saying balance. I was like, how do you want to balance your work and your life? Come on. There's no way to balance at all. I don't know how they convince themselves, they confuse themselves or they convince themselves. I have no idea. But for me, until today, there's no balance at all. I will say it's a life experience. As we get along, we go along, throughout the journey, we experience different things and we get to know a lot of people, and there's a lot of things that we never know. I never thought that I would be encountering. So for the past 10 years, I've been sitting in the accounting office. Everything I know is accounting, tax, income tax department. That's all I know. So I never know about the other part of the world that there's still a lot of things. if I'm still stuck there, I won't get to know both of you today, right?
Correct.
True.
True.
All these podcasts, I won't be knowing that, oh, actually my mate, Adelina, she has an engineering certificate, but she's doing nothing of that. And then, you see, so
That's
we
just my smart badge.
so it's, if you say stress, I think whatever you do also you will have stress. Yeah, even you're still in the traditional pathway, sitting in the office, let's say if I'm sitting in Ernst and Young today, yes, I may be having a good pay for my 10 years experience in the field, but you're stuck there every day. Are you not stressed? You stress what? When Sylma said, Jom, let's go Burger King, I cannot because I have to rush for the submission. It's stress also when your friends enjoying going here and then you're stuck every day at the same place. What if we're working from, what we are doing now? Yeah, at least we can manage our own time, but we have to be disciplined, I would say. Yeah. So in conclusion, yeah, I would still say the word work-life harmony. You say joy or stress. Yeah, for whatever you do, you still have the stress, but I believe you still enjoy also along the way. Yeah.
True. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. I agree with you. Everything has its good side and not so good side, right?
Yeah.
So it just depends on which one is suitable for you. It
And
doesn't mean to
how you look at
say
it.
you just,
Yeah.
yeah. It doesn't mean to say just because you are not in the traditional path, then you're doomed. The three of us are not
One
doomed.
last thing I wanted to share, Sylma, if you were to ask me, so Evelyn, today if I give you a choice, there's a very high pay, ask you to go back to office, would you want? After a deep breath, I will say, no lah, Sylma.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not to say that, oh, even with such a big pay, you also don't want, Evelyn, come on, you are not a certified accountant, someone is willing to pay you, blah, blah, blah. With our age, I think, no lah.
Yeah. Because we already know what it is on the other side,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We know how it feels like.
And
So
we're
I
still
think
trying here at the unconventional side.
Exactly. And I think it's like when you go back to work for someone in that capacity, right? You have no control over the stress levels
no.
because no, as in this unconventional path, you get to manage, like, okay, I'm gonna take a break now, I can do this a little bit later. But when you're in that setting, you're like, no, this has to be done now, and then once you
Yeah.
finish that, there's gonna be another thing you need to do now, and then after that another one. A lot of the times it's like that, so it's different.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Adelina? What is your ups and downs from traditional to unconventional?
I think I'd like to just point out that, the reason why traditional may be still a popular choice. I think it's because of the fact that every month you know that there is a specific amount that's going to go into your bank account that keeps you happy, and then you can budget easier.
Safe.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
safe. In the sense, you can budget easy. X amount is going to come in. So in terms
Yeah.
of expenses, people do the envelope method and all of these things. But when you go into this unconventional path where you're in the gig economy, it's very difficult to have that envelope method. Okay, I'm budgeting 200 for this, 300 for this. This is for food, for groceries. In essence, it's a bit more difficult to do that in this career path. So I think that would be the biggest challenge, in a sense that um you really have to put yourself out there and work towards getting that a steadier income, as opposed to, okay, this is my contract, and this is the monthly payment, this is my OT, this is my bonus, and
Yeah.
things like that. But I very much appreciate in this working essentially for myself, or in a more flexible manner, that there is no annual assessment, something that also, there's no KPI in that sense where, oh, boss say you need to do this. Essentially, your KPI is your own. When you're working for yourself, or you're working with this flexibility, is your KPI is your own, and you can factor in, okay, this doesn't work, this doesn't work because of what, and then what you have that autonomy where you can in fact, like at least for me, that I can in fact control, okay, this doesn't work because of this, so what do I need to change? And you can implement that change, and you can improve and learn more and test and explore more and see, in a way, push yourself more to see what you are capable of handling, or connect with
Mm,
people who can help you out in the places where you're not so good at. And I
yeah.
think for me, that is something that um I love, even though it is challenging. It's not easy, definitely, but it's something that allows for a lot more growth. And then I feel like it's easier to get that work life harmony in that sense. I think work life balance is definitely something more for the traditional path, because you have X
Yeah.
amount of work hours, you work from when to when, you come back and you stop working, you enjoy your time with your hobbies, your family, etc. Whereas when the way we work, we have to have a harmony, because there's where's that distinction, or you can't tell me, oh, I want to work 9 to 5. You don't quit a 9 to 5 to work a 9 to 5. And there's a meme that goes around, I quit my 9 to 5 job to work 24/7. So essentially,
Yeah, there is.
and it sounds like, oh my god, crazy, but that's where that work life harmony comes in. So there are times, like, I mean, people may think like, oh yeah, I may work 24/7, but what I don't show to people is, of course, like, I find the time for myself to rest, find the time to tell myself, okay, stop working now, or okay, you have to get this done because there's a client deadline, or if there's training on weekends and I have to work weekends, um and things like that. So the work life harmony doesn't is not, the boundaries there is not very like visible. It's what
Mm,
it's all about what you are okay with, what you're comfortable with,
correct.
and not sacrificing the important things in life, to stop and smell the roses. There are times for that, and there's time for when you need to put your foot down and sit at the table and do your work. Yeah, so that is
True.
I think the beauty of it.
Correct. Correct. I totally agree with the both of you. When Evelyn said if she has an opportunity to work full time and someone is, I mean, full time in an office, right? Like you're bound to your desk. Does she want it or not? And she said no, explicitly no, right? I would say the same thing as well. And I believe Adelina also, talked about work-life harmony. Both of you talked about work-life harmony. Um, it is when we are in the unconventional field, I think having the freedom of time is already a check. Doing what you love is already a check, right? Creativity, a check, because most of the time we have the say of how to deal with certain things. It doesn't have to be because the company says so,
Yeah.
right? Or because the client for this company is like this, like that. But you have your own autonomy on how you want to do it, and your own you can adjust your own time as well. But Evelyn was also spot on when she said you need to have discipline. Correct, because being in this unconventional workspace, uh, discipline is totally important. Because if you don't, if you think you are not the kind that has discipline, please don't go into this field.
Because
I
nobody's
don't
gonna go there
recommend.
and push you and motivate you.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta get this
Nobody
done.
is gonna tell you, do this now, deadline now. It is all you, right? You have to depend on yourself. So discipline is definitely important being in the unconventional career path. Uh, because it's not exactly 9 to 5. Yes, you have the same hours as everybody else, but it's
Mhm.
totally up to you how you want to use it,
Yeah,
right? And also what Adelina said about having this feel of safety of having a certain amount of money coming into your bank account every month when you are in the traditional path. In the conventional one, it's not like that. Again, guys, if you're listening to us, right, if you are until this almost to the end of our podcast, if you have been listening to us from the beginning, what you can tell yourself if you are trying to choose whether you want to go from traditional to unconventional is, can you handle the stress of um, being well disciplined. Because I like what Evelyn said. Everything you do, there's a stress and the joy in it, right? So in the unconventional one, most of the stress comes from you yourself. There's nobody else to tell you how or what. No, it's you yourself. So if you are able to handle you,
Mm.
go for it, because the joy, the creativity, the freedom of it is boundless. It's super
Mhm.
awesome. I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that kind of discipline, that kind of character in yourself, I
Mhm.
think you know yourself better, right? So don't jump ship. Not yet,
Exactly.
anyway.
Because it's not for everybody. There are people
Yeah,
who the traditional path is just fine. It's great. We
correct,
need people in
correct.
those fields as well.
Yeah,
And
nothing
not
wrong with that.
exactly nothing wrong with that. And we also need people in the unconventional fields.
Correct. Oh, wow, guys, I didn't realize the time is the time. So before we end,
We
right?
had so much
Uh,
fun.
we're having fun discussing this. At first, actually, to be honest with our listeners, when the three of us wanted to talk about this career, being from traditional to unconventional, we had doubts. We had doubts if we have anything of value to say to you or share with you. But
I have a
turns
little
out,
less doubt, but
yeah, Adelina has little less doubt, but Evelyn and I, we do have doubts about that. But turns out there's so much fun talking about this.
yeah.
Everybody has their own experience. Everybody um, uh, is sharing the value that we are getting. And there's a common theme to this, the unconventional path, which is one is you need to be disciplined because your time is your own. You are your own master. Number two is also what brings you joy. If it brings you joy to have to feel safe every month, right? Then stay with the traditional one.
Mhm.
But at the same time, if you feel like you can contribute more, or you can do more, or you want to experience more, why not go into the unconventional career path? But
Yeah.
before we end,
Oh, I
let's
need
have
to.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, you're going into the what last thing you need to you want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
say.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So let's go with that. What last thing you want to say before we end this session? Yes, Adelina.
Yeah. I just wanted to say also that being in this unconventional path, you're basically your own boss, means, you really need to develop your own leadership skills and delegate to yourself, okay, when do you need to do what?
Correct.
When do you need to do this? And when to reach out to other people and say, hey, you want to partner, you want to collaborate, you want to do this together, or let's, do things. But I also wanted to point out that there is at Rima Synergy we have a way, or we have a tool that we use to help people to test the waters, so to speak, whether
Mm,
this is the career path that is maybe you got the metal for.
mm.
And maybe Silma can talk a little bit about that particular tool.
Yeah,
um,
you go ahead, babe. Go ahead and say it. Yeah,
all
no
right.
problem.
Yeah. So what we have is we have a game that we've developed in at Rima Synergy, which allows you to go into a simulation of being a business person or working in this unconventional um what do you call this, unconventional career path, to go into business, to see if you have
The
the skill
aptitude for it.
sets, yeah, the
Yeah.
aptitude for it. And it's called RS Burger business game simulation. Yeah, and
Yes.
if you're interested, it's on our website, rimasynergy.com. There's a button there. Click on it. You can be notified if you're interested to see, oh, am I cut out for this unconventional path, or I want to venture, or I want to test it out. So this is basically a very low commitment, because there's just that commitment fee that comes with it. And then the rest is just having fun, and it's a little bit of your time, just a day of your life, basically, to see whether or not this is something that you can, in fact, tap into. So it's RS Burger, the RS Burger business game simulation, that is a 1 day game play with a group of other people who may also are either already entrepreneurs or business people. And you can see, like, oh, maybe I'm lacking in this. Some, well, business people also, you can join, you're already in that career, because it also shows which area do you need to strengthen? So that's part of what can be revealed with the game. So it's a lot of fun. It only takes a day of your life, really. So you can just go to remasterg.com. There's a link there, and you can key in your information to submit your interest. Say, hey, I want to play this game, and we'll let you know when we are running the next gameplay. So that's that's kind of what I want to share.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. And what about you, Evelyn? Any last words you want to say before we end the session?
My last word is, just now Sylma keep mentioning about Evelyn said discipline. I will just say haha.
Hey, discipline also subjective. It's like you get the work done.
Well, we are all humans, okay? So when I say discipline, it's like you really have to have discipline sometimes. But the joy of unconventional career pathway is when you really feel like burnout, stress out, your brain can't function well or whatever it is, you can just switch off your laptop or your computer, just go and turn on the drama or the movie you like.
Yes.
Well, it's also a way to take care of our own mental well-being, isn't it? Because if you are sitting in the
Correct.
office, no matter how sad you are, how stressful you are, how much you feel like running away, just grab your bag and run out of the office door, you can't do it.
Yeah.
You're very tired because you didn't sleep well last night, certain things happen or whatever, you cannot. You just have to do whatever it is. And yeah, the boss will say, now, I want it now. Everything also you want it now. So yeah. So again, back to that's the joy, the stress, the up and the down. So everything there is nothing is perfect. But discipline, yeah, I would say if you don't catch up with your discipline, so like it does happen to me as well, because I'm still running all the accounting work. So when it's almost there for the due date, but when there is like still plenty of time, I will say, okay lah, never mind lah, I still have time. I still enjoy my drama. And when time is really running out already, okay, I'll just have to work from day till midnight. But you see, that's maybe to me, it's the harmony that I'm looking for, because for the past 1 week, I really cannot work because my brain cannot function.
Yes.
But maybe towards the very last minute, my brain can function very well and very
The
efficient.
adrenaline kicks in, and you're like, oh, yes, I'm doing this. But at the same time, you're going like, I should have done this yesterday.
Yeah, I should not be watching the drama for the past 3 days. I should have been doing that. But yeah, it's the the harmony that we are looking at. Because for me, I will be thinking that if you really want to concentrate on doing something, but your brain is not with you, and your soul is not with you, you can't get things done. At the end of the day, your boss will be scolding you, and you're like, yeah, why did I did that? What's wrong with me that day?
Yeah.
Cannot get it back. Yeah. So yeah, so that's the up and down, the joy and stress Sylma is talking about.
Yep. Thank you very much, Evelyn, and thank you very much, Adelina. While also sharing your experiences, there's also a lot of what do you call that, advice, right, in the middle of it. And I what I want to say here is that for our listeners is to embrace your unique strengths. Embrace who you are. If you are not so sure, right, of what is it that you can do, what is your strengths, don't worry. You go to rimasynergy.com and look for strengths profiling coach there. We have a strengths profiling coach, Coach Hannah. She specializes in debriefing you about your strengths. You'll be required to answer a few questions so that we can understand, so that you can see the result of it. What are you good at? What is your realized strengths, unrealized strengths, your learned behavior, right? All of these wonderful nuggets will be able to know about yourself. So that's one thing. And also understand your talent, right? And what ignites your passion. If it is to do the same thing every day is okay with you, then fine. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But if you feel like, there's something else I want to do with my life, and some personal fulfillment, or you don't feel happy about doing certain things that way, then move. You're not a tree. You are not a tree.
I
You
like
can
that.
move, you can change, right? So it all depends on what you want. When you are clear on what you want, everything else will follow through. Yeah. So the main reason for this podcast is simply to highlight the traditional and also the unconventional careers that we can have. So the three of us, we are definitely on the unconventional side. And if you have been enjoying what we've been sharing, please give us a follow, a thumbs up if you're watching us on YouTube, and also subscribe if you're listening to us on podcast. Please follow us so that you'll be able to get notification on our next episode. And if you need help in knowing your strengths, knowing if you are supposed to be an entrepreneur or not, we have all the resources for you. Just go to rimasynergy.com. You can do strength profiling there and also play the game that Adelina said about Arisberger, right? You'll be able to know whether you are cut out to be an entrepreneur or not. And if you need any coaching, I'm a confidence coach. If you need any coaching on business performance, we have Coach Johan as well. Digital productivity, that's under Adelina, and also any financial literacy that you would like to know more about, you can always email us. We can give the question to who is in finance. Okay, so any questions you have, please come and approach us, DM us, PM us, because we're also on Facebook, which is Rima Synergy, everything platform. LinkedIn, we are also there. It's also Rima Synergy. Do approach us if you have any questions whatsoever. So this is help. We're trying here from Rima Synergy. This is our 8th podcast, 8th episode. And thank you so much for your support and also your feedback for all this time. We will see you again in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.